everybody. Welcome to another episode and live show of Shadowhunters Session Blast. My name is Nick Sarlo. I'm with Shadowhunters Paranormal Investigation and Events. We have a really great show for you tonight, but if you guys are brand new to the show, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel if that's where you're watching from, or please consider liking our Facebook page since we are broadcasting live on both of them. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, leave comments below. We love interacting with people as much as possible. So tonight we have some very interesting guests. We have the South Cacks. They're great people. I met them through Twitter and through YouTube. And without further ado, here are the South Cacks.
Hey,
How you guys doing?
we're good. How are you, Nick?
I'm good. I'm good. What have you guys been up to lately?
Oh, just trying to get back out there and film.
I hear you. Yeah, with the stupid COVID ruining everything. Hopefully that COVID completely disappears soon.
Hopefully, we can
One
all
can only, yeah, one can only hope. Kind of introduce yourselves. Let us know, how you guys got started, and just anything you would like people to know about yourself.
Okay. You want to go ahead?
I'm Lisa.
I'm Dustin.
So
We're South Cacks. We're from South Carolina, hence the name South Cacks. That's slang for South Cack is slang for South Carolina, North Carolina, South Kakalaki, South Kakalak. So we go by the South Cacks. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't understand. Well, what's the name come from? That's the explanation about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now we got into YouTube probably about 2 years ago. We realized that people were actually making videos about things that they enjoy doing. And me, for one, I've always been into paranormal. It's always been something part of my life. Since I was small, I've always seen spirits. And years ago, they had, there was, they're still here. They've remade their show. Ghost Hunters came out. And I always say, I'd like to do that. But I could never get anybody to actually do it with me. And then years went by, and we finally got the opportunity, found somebody that would actually get out there and do it with me. Lisa's a skeptic, but she at least jumped on it with me, and she's been there for me. So that's basically how we got into it. After we realized people were actually doing this stuff. And first person that I ever came across on YouTube when I don't know, I just sat down, I was watching, I wanted to watch paranormal stuff. I had stopped watching ghost hunters and ghost adventures and stuff like that years ago. So I was like, I want to see some paranormal stuff. I just happened to put it in on YouTube, and believe it or not, Omar came up. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? We need to do that. So here we are.
Very nice. Yeah, Omar is a great guy. I actually just found out about Omar about 6 months ago. I didn't really know too much about Omar or anything. We've been doing this for this is our 17th year that we've been ghost hunting and all that. And we just started a YouTube channel about 4 years ago. We're like, we'll see what happens if we put some of our evidence on YouTube. We'll see what happens. And yeah, it didn't do anything. We didn't blow up. We didn't do anything. We didn't get a lot of subscribers or anything. But then I really started focusing on the YouTube algorithm and how YouTube actually works. I actually took a couple of YouTube classes on how to set up your thumbnail, how to promote your channel, how to do this, how to do that. And it started working. I bought a book on it by a guy named Sean Cannell. He does a book called YouTube Secrets. And it's probably the best book I've ever read about YouTube, and it's got us, over the 1,000 subscriber mark. But yeah, and then that's when I really started looking on YouTube for like other YouTubers, and that's when I found you guys. That's when I found Wacky Witch. That's when I found Fluffy. Everybody on there. But yeah, I definitely agree. Omar's a great guy though with his content.
He is, and that's like you're talking about. When we jumped in, we didn't like we just jumped in. We didn't, years ago. You've seen people always threaten, "Oh, I'm gonna put you on YouTube. I'm gonna throw you. I'm gonna take a picture." And we was like, "Well, let's try and see what this happens." We realized it doesn't come like that. It doesn't come overnight. You don't go viral right out the gate.
No, God, no.
And with the paranormal, well, it's not exactly the most interesting thing to everybody. It just don't unless you're playing video games or a how-to video or a music video, it's not going to go to the top right out the gate. And I have, recently, because we just threw them out there. We didn't even really concentrate on. We didn't even know that if there was a type of etiquette or there was something that, rules of it. We just all right, let's throw it out there, and the views were semi decent, but gaining followers that was a little different,
Right.
and we didn't realize how it all worked. And here recently, I myself have been paying attention to YouTubers that have been in the game for years, and that it did. A lot of them are just now getting their opportunity. They're just now blowing up. They're actually the ones who are at the top right now have been on this platform for years, but we just didn't realize that. We're seeing them and then they're going, "Oh, let's be like them," but we don't realize they've been on this for years. Omar for one, he's been on this for probably 10 years. Uh, a lot of them have, like Mr. Beast and certain people like that. They've been on it for a while. They finally figured out the algorithms, and now they're just killing them, and that's how they're staying on top and they're blowing up. So I started doing a little bit of research myself, and what could we do to be better? Because typically I didn't really care for that. I mean,
Right.
I didn't, I wasn't trying to make a movie. I wasn't, and we never came out the gate trying to be like the bigger YouTubers. We didn't want to make our thumbnails like them. We didn't want to,
Right.
because we found out that also could hurt you because one being you don't get the recognition that you need, because nobody knows who you are when you come out.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
really, YouTube's not going to push you. We didn't understand that why the larger YouTubers were getting all this recognition because they've been in the game for a while. Their face was more familiar.
Right.
That's why they mark up and as a thumbnail, and people would come watch.
Mm-hmm.
For us starting out, a lot of newer YouTubers don't realize that. When you come in, they want to be, "Oh, I should do my videos like this person who's been doing it for years and they're the top of it." And they don't realize that can actually hurt you because, you're not recognizable. And
Right.
so it's a lot harder. Learn how to do things. I mean, we're trying to put in little things here and there, trying to make our videos a little bit better. But when we first started, our video was crap. Yeah, I remember our first video. We put, we just threw it on there. The camera was sideways, and it was just ridiculous. But we just kept going.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what we're known for. Is pretty much just being raw, 100% raw. I mean, unedited, not looking to be, because that's who we are. I mean, we could go to the extravagance of, but maybe we're just not. That's not our thing. Maybe it's not our thing.
Right.
So we just stick to the regular, the simple stuff. We're trying to be a little bit better on our thumbnails and stuff like that because we do understand that that's what gets, people out there watching you. And that's what gives YouTube, "Hey, let me push this one because this is nice." And we also realize, we were thinking here recently that we're just going to, thinking about just throwing our stuff up there without editing, just toss it on there because people's attention span is very short. It's kind of like a squirrel.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You can't get people watching if you can't get people to stay there for more than a couple minutes. You're not going to get anywhere. So we're trying to focus on just dropping a few things, squashing intros. Just throw the video on there and keep their attention span because,
Absolutely.
but it's hard. It's difficult. It's not what people think it is when they first come on YouTube. They think, oh, it's YouTube. I'll put out a video and I'll blow up. It's totally different than that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's and a lot of it has to do, like you were saying, with that algorithm. And I mean, when people first start, they're, sometimes their videos are not too good, but the thing is, you're working towards something better.
Yes.
So I mean, even our videos, like I probably had the worst video I've ever recorded before. Like, the sound was just all off. Everything was wrong. I had the music way too high and all this. But you learn as you get, as you practice more and more. And I mean, with paranormal investigations too, it's not about like who has the best evidence, who does this, who does that. It's all about working together, and that's why I like using YouTube, because you see other people's techniques, and they see your techniques, and that way we can share stuff back and forth on techniques or how they go on a ghost hunt, and then that way we can finally actually possibly capture a ghost in the afterlife and see if there really is life after death.
Mm-hmm. That's if you can actually get them to stick with that. That's a lot of why we have so many issues in the paranormal community as it is, because I don't know, where people they get so competitive, they get jealous,
Oh yeah.
Well, this person's doing this and this person's getting this, and we're all doing the same thing. Just do what you're doing, work together, because we all have one goal, and especially in the paranormal, what's our one goal? To actually prove, to put it out there, make it public, so we have other people start, because people don't believe, they're just like, oh, I don't believe in ghosts.
Right.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring the existence and proof to you, So if everybody would just stop being so jealous of each other and the hate and the crap and trying to tear each other down, we probably could prove this, just like you said. I mean, if we all work together,
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't tell you how much garbage I always see of, well, that team is faking this, or that team just completely, that's not a real EVP, or this isn't real, that's not real. How do you know it's not real? There's no expert in this field. It's called, it more or less is coming out as jealousy. Well, how come they got to do this and we didn't? Or how come they got this and we didn't? We were just lucky. That's all it is. A lot of the times paranormal investigation is luck. Like, because we think of it as this: you're interacting on the spirit's time, not on, they're not going to interact on your time. They don't give a shit about you, pretty much. Like, if they want to perform for you, or if they want to give you a sign, they'll do it. If they don't want to, try again next time. And I mean, some people get lucky, some people don't get lucky. And I mean, that's the whole fun of ghost hunting. Like I always say, ghost hunting can be like watching paint dry. It can be very, very boring at times. And a lot of people, like we've taken people on ghost hunts before, they're like, well, how come they capture it on TV or this or that? Well, that's because they filmed 12 hours of an investigation, and they just put the little bitty stuff that they have captured. Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
And they have to give you something, because the reason you're watching it is because it's entertaining.
Exactly.
It has to be entertaining. So if they don't capture something, well, I'm sorry, they have to throw something in there to capture the audience, to keep the audience there. That's the difference between a lot of us. We go in there because we're not in there. We're not scripted. We're not.
Right.
And a lot of people have to keep that image up that, like a lot of the bigger YouTubers, I'm not hating on them. We understand a lot of stuff is fake. We understand there's a lot of stuff that's, because those YouTubers have to keep up that entertainment. So
right.
Yeah, of course, they're going to throw this fake stuff every time they do a video, and because as well as we do, you're not, like you just said, it's like watching paint dry. You're not going to get something on every investigation. So So if you're a larger channel and you're trying to just continue, because you're there to entertain people, well, they're gonna throw that in there. They're gonna be like, all right, we didn't find nothing here. Bye bye.
Right.
Us, we continue. We do the whole video. We spend hours or however
Mhm.
long we're there, and if we have nothing, we still put the video out because
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a couple of videos on our YouTube channel where we didn't catch one damn thing and we still put it up. So the reason we still put it up is so people can still know that, hey, we just spent 12 hours at this place. Yeah, we're only showing you like clips here and there, but this is what we tried. This is the kind of techniques that we used, and we still didn't get anything. And the reason we put it up to show that, hey, what we do is real. It's not fake. We're not going to add a ghost or a screaming lady or whatever into the clip. Like that's just not right. Because I mean, if you're going to fake evidence, you're doing ghost hunting for the wrong reason. That is not what this is about. Like for me personally, the reason that I'm doing ghost hunting is because I had my first paranormal experience when I was 18. And after that, I wanted to find out more on what exactly had happened. Because I didn't believe in ghosts or anything. I thought Ghost Adventures was the dumbest show in the world. I had no beliefs in ghosts, Bigfoot, aliens, this, that. And now because of that one paranormal experience, I have now had so much more experience. My mind has opened up more at the possibility of ghosts, spirits, demons, aliens, anything like that. And I notice a lot now because I've been doing this for so long that I kind of have a little psychic ability to me too. Like I just kind of know when stuff is going to happen. So it's kind of like my third eye is opened up a little bit more from doing this.
yeah. I mean, I think that's probably is different for somebody who is never, when something suddenly happens to them,
Mhm.
So for me, it was all as a child. That's they were always there,
Right.
And at the time, I thought, well, why is it always happening to me? Am I going? Is there something wrong with me, or
Right.
And then as I got older, I was like, you know what? I like to, well, there's got to be more to this, you know.
Right.
And for me, learning that, especially after losing people that you love, family members,
Oh yeah.
you want to know that, all right, there's something else out there. I know that you and I will once again be reunited, but not in the biblical sense. So
Right.
there has to be more to what's out there. And then me, I've never really been a skeptic of anything because, like believing in like aliens. Now, Ghost Adventures. Now I didn't believe in everything I was watching on there because at some point I was like, this is bull. But
Right.
the idea, the concept of what they were doing, even if it was scripted or they were throwing fake stuff in there, it was, they're doing what, at least they're bringing attention to it.
Right.
They're getting everybody's curiosity. Well,
Right.
maybe they really are. Maybe we should check this out. Maybe we shouldn't just be blind to everything. And then, I'm that kind of person. I do believe that there probably could be aliens out there. There probably could be Bigfoot, but I kind of Bigfoot's a whole different story because
Yeah, I'm on the edge about Bigfoot. I'm not really sure.
yeah, how could this being elude people for so long?
Mhm.
There's all, but could it exist? Yeah, there's a
Oh,
good possibility.
yeah, anything is possible. I mean, even with like what is it, Loch Ness monster?
Yeah.
People say Loch Ness monster exists, or what's that new report that came out about not thin man? Is it Thin Man or
Slender Man.
Slender Man.
Slender Man? Thank you. People are saying there's a real Slender Man out there. Like,
Well, I don't know about that one.
yeah, right.
I mean, some things can be far fetched. I mean, maybe they
Mhm.
exist, maybe they don't. Like Chupacabra. I mean, or the Jersey Devil or stuff like that. I don't know
Right.
if these things, a big flying bat could exist. I don't
Right.
know. But
Yeah, because I guess like where I am, because I'm about 50 miles from Chicago. people have seen reports of the Mothman flying around and all that stuff. And what is it? I think West Virginia, they do that Mothman festival every year to celebrate Mothman. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different creatures that there could be, and I mean, it kind of goes back to who are we to say it's not? Like, there could be. It's just, nobody is an expert at anything paranormal, because paranormal means anything out of the ordinary, pretty much. So it could be anything.
Yep, I agree on that.
Oh yeah. Now, has there been an investigation or any place that you've been to that was just that really had gotten to you, like that was really, really scary?
For me, really none of it. I've never really came across anything that was truly scary, terrifying to me, but to Lisa, maybe.
I mean, it wasn't like scary, but
scary.
It kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We went to there's a cemetery. Was it Oakwood?
Oakwood Cemetery, yes.
And they've nicknamed it Hell's Gate.
Okay.
So this is like one of our first, like, I don't know, real investigations, I guess. And I'm still a skeptic at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But as we were going through the cemetery, I kept hearing like these growls in the tree line. And it was just kind of following us. And I was like, okay, maybe it's an animal. But, you couldn't hear it walking or anything like that. So finally, like, I just got so freaked out. Like, I asked Dustin, I was like, do you hear that? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, but you haven't mentioned it. You haven't said anything to me. Like, I thought I was losing my mind.
Well, you also have to think that maybe it could be debunked. Maybe there is a animal that is creeping around and, making these noises, but you can't automatically assume that it's a spirit. But then the longer it went on, and I'll tell you this, that for a place, a lot of places say, well, this happens here. People always report this and this and that. And be honest with you, out of all the places that we have went, this was the place that actually it came to be. I mean, everything that had been said, it happened right there. Everything like from it draining any kind of electronics, phone just quit. And then just everything that was spoken, except for seeing the children running around and playing, but everything that had been said was happening right out there. And that's the first place that we've been. We go to places and they're saying, oh, this is the most haunted place here in this area. We go there and we're like, is anything going to happen? We've been to several places where a lot of places that we first covered was South Carolina's most haunted. Places that we heard that were probably the most haunted in South Carolina, like Poinsett Bridge and
the tuberculosis
hospital. It's no longer there. It had been torn down and they made a park out of it.
Right.
But like majority of the places that we started off with, it was in the had put it in the most haunted places in South Carolina in the books. Well, we've been to these places and we didn't get anything. So we heard this is one of South Carolina's most haunted cemeteries. Well, we go there, and turns out everything that had been said just about was happening right there. So when we heard those growling, was like, okay. But to me, it was like, just don't worry about it. Don't get, because you're skeptic. I mean, they're just trying to push you. They're trying to scare you. They're trying to push you out. Just, it's okay. Don't freak out. Just keep doing what we're doing. And, and we really didn't have a lot of time there either, because a lot of places we go, we don't really have a lot of time to be there because most of the time they're patrolled, or somebody, we just don't have a lot of time. So we try to get in those places. We try to get in and get out. And this night it was raining and it was just nasty. It was limited time because we kept waiting on the cops to show up and patrol, kick us out, because this cemetery wasn't supposed to be open.
Right.
It was after hours, and most cemeteries will close at dusk, or at dawn.
Right.
At night they'll close it down, but they left this one wide open, and we knew it would, be because of the things that had happened in the cemetery. You know, a lot of what do you call it?
Satanic.
Satanic rituals were performed here. We talk about it in the video, but there actually was some satanic people who had done some rituals, but they had dug up one of the graves, and they had took remains. They took like a skull.
They took the head.
They took the head.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did with it, but they tore up the cemetery, and then weeks later they come back and just threw the skull back in the cemetery. And it was also there's also some people say it's a portal to hell. That's really where it gets its name, Hell's Gate, because of all the bad stuff. Because a lot of the graves were moved from other places and brought there, and there's a lot of different stories about it. But yeah. I said I was going to let Lisa do a lot of the talking. I always just run away with it, but
nah, you guys are doing great. Have you guys ever thought about investigating like other states or anything, or just mostly like around South Carolina?
No, we're not limited to South Carolina. We just happen to, you know, and really there's not a lot here. So we are getting out. I mean, we have been to Florida a few times. We've investigated Virginia. We've been in
North Carolina,
Georgia, Tennessee, Georgia,
Louisiana,
New Orleans. So it's not limited to South Carolina. Plus, we came back and started doing more of South Carolina haunted things after, you know, things slowed down a little bit. We need to do more of our state, you know, because that's what we were doing. We're focusing on other places.
Right.
We come back to South Carolina. We need to focus on, you know, after we did New Orleans with AK Explorations, we came back and decided, you know, let's do our state, you know, because there's more stuff towards the low country, towards the coast of our state, you know, that's more haunted. So we thought, all right, let's go down there and hit a couple of those places like Charleston and work our way back. But now we're at the period now after this long break of, you know, not really being able to do anything. That's the majority of what we want to do. We want to start doing more collabs now. We want to get out and go across the country and hit as many and join up with as many people as we can. So that's our next goal.
Well, yeah, we'll have to get you out to Illinois. There's tons of places out here.
Oh, that'd be awesome. There's some very interesting stuff that we've heard about that we'd like to do up there. But
yeah, we have. Have you guys ever heard of Bachelor's Grove Cemetery?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
It's the world's most haunted cemetery in Chicago that has ties back to Al Capone. Al Capone used to throw his victims in the lake behind the cemetery. There's so much stuff there. There's a phantom house that when you walk close to it, it starts to disappear. When you walk away from it, it starts to appear out of nowhere.
That's crazy.
People have seen horse and buggies from the 1800s just randomly start going down and then disappear. There's a lot of, unfortunately, satanic rituals that do go on over there also. But they call it the world's most haunted cemetery.
Definitely.
We've been there a couple of times, and it's definitely got some stuff to it. Like you can just tell people are like right there on you, and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very interesting though. Yeah, we have that. We have it's a place called the Pollock Hospital. It's a very old tuberculosis hospital. It's still around for paranormal tours to this day. But that's another like hotspot of paranormal activity where you just feel people like breathing on you and like right there, watching your every move and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean it's kind of like what we're trying to do too. Is we're trying to go to newer states. The end of July, we're finally going to Salem, Massachusetts. We're going to go to see all the Salem witch trials and all that. And we're fans of Hocus Pocus, so we're going to go see all the filming locations of
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that movie too. I was a fan of that too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that was definitely my childhood movie growing up. I kind of always knew that I was into like odd and like paranormal stuff, but eh, it's still fun. I mean, get called weird all the time because of it, but I'm like, hey, I don't give a shit. Whatever.
There's nothing wrong with being weird.
Oh god, not at all. Some people think it's cool, but then you have those others that like to make you feel bad because they can't make themselves feel good and all that stuff. So it's whatever. I love what I do, and that's what I say to people. Um, so when you guys go on your investigations, do you guys have like any favorite paranormal tool that you guys like to use or equipment?
No, only thing that we really, because we haven't really upgraded to all the major investigating tools.
Mhm.
We basically just at first we went off by ear and sight. Because I thought, my whole opinion on that is if um, I didn't need any of those tools to do it when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Uh, so why do I need it now? I mean, the best evidence would be, let's pick it up on the camera, or we just play it by ear. But we played around with the equipment, and we use the apps. I mean, we've used the necrophonic, and we out of the apps, we're fond of the necrophonic. I mean, we've got a lot of intelligent responses and the communication as well, and it's not loud. With all the white noise and static. So
Hmm.
but no, we don't have any majors. I mean, we've been around uh, most of the equipment, but our us ourselves, we don't really use any major equipment. Not
Right.
now, not right now, but we will upgrade to. We will try certain things out. Like Lisa wants to try the.
REM pod.
Yeah, Lisa wants to try out the REM pod. We've seen it done,
Mhm.
on one of our investigations and other things. And she was also wanting to try the what was that stone you wanted?
The pendulum.
The pendulum. That's what she
Okay.
learn how to do that and try that one.
I like
Um,
dowsing rods too. I think
And the
they're pretty
dowsing
cool.
rods.
Yeah. Well, dowsing rod's super simple. Just get a couple wired coat hangers, and you have some dowsing rods right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. We love the REM pod. Probably one of our best pieces of equipment that we have. We always use it all the time, and we're the same. Like we don't have millions and millions of equipment. It's just one, it's too damn expensive. Two, I mean, I feel that we get the best evidence just by being ourselves and listening to our intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's 100.
goosebumps, that feeling of dread, that feeling at the pit of your stomach. That's paranormal. That's spirits or ghosts talking to you. I mean, yeah, we have upgraded and stuff like that, but we still feel just being ourselves and using, our own intuition is probably the best piece of equipment that you can have.
That's I
Uh,
agree. Uh,
we have a question from Danny. It says, "Do you have any plans, or have you been to the aircraft carrier at Charleston?" He forgot the name of it.
no, we know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we saw it the last time we were down there, and we wanted to do it, but we
Yes.
didn't have time on that trip.
Yeah, we were. That
So,
was.
That's
Here's the thing with our trips. It's kind of we don't plan them.
we're just random. We're like, hey, we're gonna go here.
Yeah, we're going here. Let's all right. Somebody says, "Hey, Southcax, or why don't y'all come do this?" That's how we ended up in New Orleans. That's how we ended up in Virginia, Florida. Somebody said, "Hey, come up here," and well, we had the time, we had the money, and we said, "All right, here we come."
Right.
So we really don't decide. We really don't make no plans. We're gone. We hear something. All right, we'll be there. But no, we do have plans to go to see that. We would love to see that. We just want to get more time. We would love to see that. We hear a lot of good things about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There you go. Yeah, I wish I could do that, but with my job, they're just like, nope, you gotta work. You gotta work. I wish I could just go.
That's what we were. Believe it or not, that's what our goals are. I mean, you know, we want to get to the point where we can just spend our time, filming, doing what we want to do. I mean, there's a bunch of places that we want to be. We want to go check out. We want to go do this. And the reality of it, the Southcats, we don't just do paranormal. We kind of do whatever we, comes, But our main love, as far as is paranormal.
Mhm.
That's what got us here, and that's what's going to keep us here if we can
Yeah,
focus. Um,
absolutely. Do you guys have like a paranormal bucket list of a place that you just absolutely need to go to?
Brushy Mountain.
we're
Yeah,
rushing for Lisa. Mine is Gettysburg.
there you go.
There's something about Gettysburg. I've got to get there. I've got to see this one. I got to investigate this place. Um, a lot of the things, as far as America, there's not a lot that I really is just I gotta go there, except for maybe Gettysburg. But a lot of I like to go to places around the world, explore, like go to Europe and go in. The
Mhm.
UK has a lot of historical
Oh
places.
yeah.
I've even thought about, there's Israel or Japan or somewhere where the spiritual belief is a lot different than what we believe,
Mhm.
like our ghosts, they're a whole lot different in another uh, uh,
Country.
well, country,
Religion. I don't know
religion,
what word you're looking for.
culture. I think I'm looking for the word culture. This is normally my words when I can't remember. When I have my
I was
little,
lost on that one. I'm sorry.
but visit other cultures and hear more about
Right.
their spiritual, but there's a lot more history around the world than there is here in America.
Oh, absolutely.
But I can't for sure say there's one particular place other than Gettysburg that I would just love to go to.
Yeah.
I would like to Roanoke,
Mm.
Roanoke, North Carolina, where the Lost Colony. I like to go there. Uh, as far as I mean, we'll get to many of them, majority of them
Oh
as we
yeah.
go. But and also, a lot of those places have been overdone. They've just been killed, murdered. I like to find a lot of places that were, not a lot of people know about.
Mhm. Oh yeah. I mean, I agree with Lisa. I've always wanted to go to Brushy Mountain. And especially when that show Destination Fear went there and I actually saw it, I was like, oh my God, this place is a lot bigger
Yeah,
than what they say it is. My investigator, he's on two paranormal teams. He's on Shadow Hunters and then a Ghost Research Society in Chicago. They actually just went to Brushy Mountain. And they said it was probably the best experience they've ever experienced on a ghost hunt. Just like walking there, and then you see that huge, gigantic mountain behind the actual cell. Like, oh my God! Like, just imagine being there, and there's nowhere to escape, and you try to escape, and you have that huge ass mountain that you have to go through to, um, try to get out and all that. It's just, and I think I want to go there too because I love things with mountains. I'm a huge what do you say, like scenery. I love scenery at like different places, and I love taking pictures of scenery too. So I think that would be kind of cool, like background for
we love them.
to like take pictures and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's what we prefer. We prefer the mountains over uh, our beaches. Any day of
Oh
the week. We live in the mountains.
yeah,
The part of South Carolina we live in is in the mountains. We
yeah,
have, and we love the mountain. We enjoy it over the beaches, but
yeah.
it's a
I mean,
rarity because we don't see the beaches as much. But I grew up. I spent a little time in Florida when I was growing up, so I lived in Daytona, and I was right down. I wasn't that far away from the beach. So,
right.
but for Lisa, it's every year. Lisa, let's go to the beach.
I'm
You know,
sorry.
but for me, I would rather stay up in, like Gatlinburg, or go
Yeah.
up in Virginia is awesome.
Hmm.
I mean, like so, we went to Salem, Virginia, uh,
Mhm.
last year. It sits right in the mountains at the bottom. I mean, that's all you see around you is mountains. So I mean,
Right.
We might
Oh, yeah,
enjoy the brush here.
absolutely. Like, if I could, I would move to South Dakota, like towards like the mountainside,
Yeah.
not flat like Illinois. Just everything in Illinois is flat. It's ugly here. It's just, yeah. But no, if I could, it would either be South Dakota, Montana, or Wyoming, with all the mountains out there and all that. Yeah, it's great to see and all that. I think my one place that I've always wanted to go to is Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in, I think it's West Virginia. I think.
Well, yeah, I believe we were invited to go there, weren't we?
I don't think so. Not to that one.
But I think you're right about the location. I think
Yeah, I think it's West Virginia, but that place is gigantic. Yeah, I mean, there's so many places that I would love to investigate, but it's just time and money. Something a lot of us don't have.
I don't think people realize that how much actually goes into this. It's not we like we just did. We just did Cave Cove, Elkmont, Gatlinburg, and it's not cheap. I mean, you have to, and it's kind of frustrating if you think about it. You put them video, you spend that time and that money, and then you just don't get anything out. Nobody watches it, or you feel like nobody cares. But as you keep going, as you keep moving, more people will check you out. But it is very hard. I mean, it is. I mean, we work 40 or more hours a week. And sometimes it's mandatory depending on what you do. You got to work extra days, or you got to work Saturdays, or you just don't have the time to just jump out there and do this place. I mean,
absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's like with me. I work as a vet tech at a veterinarian hospital, so we're always
going
and all that stuff.
Yeah, she's on call, and it's just. I got out of that on call stuff. I didn't care for it, because you couldn't have a life, period.
Right.
I mean, every time you wanted to do something, you'd get called, hey, and we've been out of town, or we've been on investigations, or and she's gotten called, hey, we need you to come in. Sorry, I'm 2 states away.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. But me, it's just, I work in the kind of environment I work in, if something gets backed up, well, guess what? I'm gonna be working in the weekends, and it sucks because that's a lot of times when we have our plan to go do things, But that's the nature of the beast, I guess.
Yeah, it's a very expensive but fun hobby.
It is. It really is. I mean, if you are a people person, or you're sociable, or you enjoy meeting new people, this is the best thing for that to do.
Absolutely.
You get to see things that you probably never would see before. You get to show people who don't get the opportunity to go and do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think probably my favorite thing about like paranormal investigations are definitely like the history of the places. Like, it's almost like you get to go back in time in history and kind of see what they went through at that time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I used to get like that. There's places that we've been, and I asked Lisa the same question. I was like, could you imagine we're standing right where such and such was, or this happened here? Could you imagine just you feel like you're that person at that moment?
Absolutely. That's the one thing I love about doing what we do is definitely the history of it. Just learning the history. And I mean, I've always been a history buff, but it's kind of cool that you actually get to, like you were saying, you get to go to these places and stand right where, I don't know, Al Capone was, or whoever was.
Yeah. I see Al Capone beat this guy right here with a baseball bat. See, I'm standing in the same spot.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, the history is great. I've always loved history my whole life. So
you get to mix the two together, and actually, depending on what you know about history, about this time period. I mean, it means a lot to you. I mean, it means a lot of people who are historic because, you know, you got to think about this too. History repeats itself, and that is true.
Right.
History, everything that happened in history, it comes back. It's happening. You know, it's happening now. You know, but you're 100% correct on that. Being the two go hand in hand.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Paranormal and history just definitely make each other work out, put it that way. So where, if people want to learn more about the South Cacks, where can they find you guys at?
I can find us majority 9% of the South Cacks. That's basically the only really big social platform that we're actually on. We do have. You can also find us on Twitter if you'd like to hear us just talk crap on South Cack Dustin and South Cack Lisa. We have Facebook, same names. We have Twitter. Instagram, but we don't really use Instagram. And we both have TikTok. There's also South Cack Dustin, South Cack Lisa. So
Yeah.
same name, whatever platform it is, it's going to be the same pretty much.
Perfect. Well, you guys have all heard that, where you guys can find them. So definitely go make sure that you subscribe to their YouTube page. Go follow them on Twitter. What is it for TikTok? I think it's like follow or something like that.
It's something like
Follow.
that. Follow.
I'm not too big into TikTok. I never really learned how to use it. So
we spent a little time on it, but we're not really into it anymore either. So don't waste your time going to TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, because we don't really even pay no mind to those. Majority of the time, we'll be on Twitter, or you can find us on our channel. That's about it.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for being on the show tonight, having everybody get to know you guys, get to talk to you, and we'll definitely have to try to get you guys out to Illinois.
That'd be awesome, and we appreciate you greatly for inviting us up here.
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, you guys know where to find them. South Cack Lisa and South Cack Dustin. Fantastic people, hilarious on Twitter. I always love going on Twitter and seeing their conversations every day. And the same with YouTube, guys. They put out a lot of great content, so make sure that you guys go and subscribe to their channel. So, well, thank you guys again, and we'll be talking to you guys later.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you.
Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Well, guys, that was tonight's episode of Shadow Hunters Session Blast. We will be back next Sunday. Make sure you guys do stick around, though. April 13th, we have a very, very exciting guest who has he's been on the Travel Channel a few times. So yeah, make sure you guys stick around for that. That is coming on April 13th. I will not tell you guys who the guest is yet. You guys will have to find out. But I will see you guys next week on Shadow Hunters Session Blast.